Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews. It's Gaming Friday. I'm Gary.
And I'm Geoff.
Welcome back to Gaming Friday, Geoff.
Hey.
Geoff, you've got a game
Cheers,
for
Gary.
me. Slay the Spire, which
Absolutely.
was in early access back in 2017 on November 15th. And the game, I believe, is due for release this year in its entirety.
Right.
Developed by Megacrit Games and also published by Megacrit Games.
Yep.
This is their first ever game. Very small studio in Seattle. Mainly two people that developed the game.
Yeah.
Of course, with some collaborators that would work on the music and sort out the business kind of thing.
Yep.
Geoff, what is Slay the Spire?
Slay the Spire is a deck building game. A deck building roguelike. What would you say? I guess card combat, encounter combat type thing, where you've got three bosses you got to kill. Think of FTL.
Yeah.
Where you've got a big end boss you got to get to, and you got to go progress your way through a randomly generated spire.
Yeah.
So if I click on my map here, you'll see what I mean by spire. So
You're working your way up.
this
Yeah.
is the map. Yep, you got to get from the bottom to the top, and there's three different levels essentially. That big circle at the top, it means the boss.
Right.
So that's the boss you got to kill, and all along the way you've got these which are enemies, these things which are boss enemies, question marks which are random encounters of, could be good, could be bad, could be like a shop, could be anything. Often it's a gamble of some kind, or an option of one kind of goodness or another, or one kind of badness or another.
Yeah.
And then you've got
There's treasure,
that.
areas where you
that-
can rest, merchants.
This is a shop. The little bag symbol is a shop where you can purchase other cards and things called relics. As you can see, I'm starting with a character called the Silent. There's three characters in this game. They've each got very different deck kind of dynamics, and you start with a standard relic. Each different character has their own base relic you can start with, and you can buy relics at the shops. You win them from defeating these elite enemies, and then you have campfires, which are places where you can rest to regain health, or you can upgrade cards from there, or occasionally if you have a particular type of relic you can even discard cards from there. You have your health, you got your money, you've got slots for potions which help you do one thing or another during battle, and that is pretty much it. Now, as if I
So
go
that's
in,
the interface, that's the map, that's how everything works. So
that's it.
it's a card game, but we've got this beautiful kind of animation going on in the background. It looks turn-based, like turn-based combat.
Yeah, it is. It's not quite like one of these lane combat games where you have, often you'll have, with many deck builders you'll have on the tabletop, you'll be building your deck as you go through, say, 3 stages, but you'll be filling a lane with different baddies which you've got to fight in order. But these you've got your character here with his fixed amount of health, his or her fixed amount of health, and then you've got, hopefully that doesn't offend any gender neutral people, and you've got your enemies. Now these enemies will have above their head all of their symbols which indicate their intent for what they're going to do. So this guy he's going to inflict a negative debuff on me. This guy's got a little sword symbol indicating he's going to attack me for 10 damage. Now the way that I can stop that damage is by applying defense to my character, but I can also apply status effects to my enemies as well. So I have a card here which costs 0 energy. My little energy counter is down here on the side.
Yeah.
And this is my basic deck. As you can see, my basic deck with this character consists of 5 strikes, 5 defenses, and another strike which is kind of based on applying the status of weak, and this block card which involves discarding a card in order to play it.
Okay.
So it's
there's 10 damage coming at you, you can block 80% of it there.
with that one card. Yeah. Now I don't
It
have
doesn't
that.
also cost any, or did it? It did cost some power.
It costs 1 energy to cast it. But as you can see, my opening hand here consists of 4 of my
Lots of
5
blocks.
defense cards. I've got that survivor card as well, which requires me. And I've got neutralize and a single strike. So that means my next hand coming up, these are the cards that are left in my draw pile. This is my discard pile. I'm now going to apply weak to that spike slime.
Right.
So that
happened immediately.
That does 3 damage. I just drag it to the enemy. Yeah, and so that when he's weak, he now does 25% less damage. So I now only have to worry about defending 7 damage incoming.
Yeah.
So that 1 survivor card, I can cast that, discard one of these defenses that I'm never going to be able to use because I've got too many of them and not enough energy.
It's going to give you enough defense for that attack.
That
but
gives
there's still
me
a negative effect coming at you.
There's some negative debuffs going to be incoming at me. I've got nothing to be able to stop those negative defenses, and I've got a crappy little acid slime there with only 12 health, which I can remove half of his health by just merely 1 strike. So I'll do that in preparation of hopefully being able to kill him on the next turn, and I've still got 1 energy, which I could either waste or cast another 5 block. It doesn't matter, because as soon as I end the turn, these cards will be put in my discard pile. They will perform...
so you cannot hold on to cards.
You cannot unless you have a special relic called the Pyramid.
Okay.
So this is where the relics completely can alter your strategy. Now, he's now cast weak on me, so I'm now doing 25% less damage now as well.
Right.
So it's annoying because my single strike would have killed the acid slime before and finished him, preventing that. Now it's not. I've only got 1 defense card, so whatever I'm doing, I can only survive 5 incoming damage before I'll be taking damage over the top.
Right.
There's nothing I can do about it. If I kill that slime, he's not going to attack me for 4 anymore.
But you're now out of energy.
I'm taking 10 damage, whatever, because I didn't have enough.
But you've got 5 defense?
I've got 5 defense, so I'm going to take 5 damage on my health, like that.
Yeah.
So, now I'll speed this up a bit. He's now hit me for a slime damage, which puts 2 slimed status cards in my draw pile. Those cards now, the only way I get rid of them is by playing them, costing me an energy, and this card has the word exhaust on it. So you get some cards which have exhaust. Once you play them, they go out of your draw and discard pile into another pile called the exhaust pile, and they're out of the combat for the rest of the combat, unless you have special cards which can actually get out from your exhaust pile.
Right.
But that means that's going to kind of clog up my hand when I'm drawing them, and it'll waste me energy to get rid of them. So he's on 28 damage. He's going to do another negative status effect on me, which means really I want to go all out attack here because I'm not going to take any damage, so I don't need any defense. So I'm just going to try and get his health down as quickly as possible so that if on the next turn he's going to try and do me damage, hopefully he's within reach of me killing him, depending on what I draw. Now, he's only going to try and do another status effect. So he's made me frail, so my block is reduced. So I've gone from 5 to 3 per card now. But it doesn't matter because he's not attacking me anyway. So I'm going to just...
enough cards to bring him down.
Yeah, I'm going to use all my attacks that I have available. And I'm going to get rid of one of those slimed because I don't even need it. And just cast 1 block for fun.
I take it there'll also be relics or other power-ups that increase the amount of power you have. Right now it's up to 3. Can that be increased and can that be held over?
That's right, yeah. So now pretty much everything here is up for grabs in sort of means of building deck synergies to help you get more or do more damage or get more defense or have more potion slots or all sorts of things like that.
Yeah.
They're building on the overall capacity of all the things that you can do. You know, a bit like magic, it's ever increasing and there's always more and more they're adding to it. and thinking of new and creative ways to create deck synergies and deck builds.
Well, I believe as the game has been being built, they keep adding additional characters and more cards and expanding on what is there for its final full release.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they started out with 1 character, they're now up to 3. I don't know what their plans are for more, but the 3 characters that are there are distinctly original enough in the way they play.
Excellent.
That they are very good fun to switch between them and try new deck sort of plans, deck synergies.
Well, I mean, the developers and the makers of this game are avid deck building tabletop gamers, and one of the inspirations, one of the games that convinced them to go and make a deck builder was Android Netrunner, the card game from Fantasy Flight Games, which came out in 2012.
Okay.
And whilst they were developing Slay the Spire, the developers of the game recruited some of the best players of Android Netrunner, the card game, to play test Slay the Spire to figure out its balance and difficulty, knowing that they are deck builders. They know how to build them in on a tabletop game, so using that expertise to help craft this game and make sure it's done right. And that also tells me that this has come from a good place. It's come from people that know how deck building tabletop games work and incorporated it into a video game, recruiting artists from the looks of things with it's quite a simplistic look.
Yeah.
But it's very, the cartoonish look to it kind of adds, I think, to the charm and flavour, but everything fits from the animations in the background to the artistry on the cards.
Yeah, it's got a really good fun art style. It's quite good enough, that's all I can say. Because the fun of this game, I mean, these are just sort of physical representations. Like you say, this could be on tabletop. And you could, it doesn't really necessarily need the animation, The fun of this game is about building the deck and gaining the perspective and the vision of how you can put your cards together so that you can start ramping up your damage or your defense. And it's adopting a strategy and then building the deck around it. And it's the right combination of luck, RNG type thing, combined with your skill and your ability to play strategically, think ahead as well, because all of these things are really important. So this guy's now going to be doing 18 damage to me, which I would never be able to take. It would do massive damage to me, but because I know the way this Birdman plays, I've gone all out attack, ready for him to, knowing that he's going to start hitting me really hard as time goes on. So I've gone all out attack to try and kill him as quickly as possible. And then at the end of each enemy you fight, you get a chance to pick a card.
And you add this to your deck.
And these are all adding to your deck. So if you're an experienced deck builder, you'll know that being able to remove the lesser cards from your deck is just as important as also adding cards to your deck. So
is there a deck limit? How and when do you siphon cards out of your deck in favour of others?
Well, this is the beauty of it, because each character will have contained within their deck different strategies of how to do it. So you may have a deck in which you have a lot of cards, but you have systems within it to be able to exhaust those cards, get rid of them, churn them through your deck, discard them, etc.
Okay.
So you can get the cards you want. And then you'll have random encounters, which will allow you the chance to remove from your deck
one of your cards. Okay.
Now you see, I built on the first combat I had. I picked up Cloak and Dagger, which effectively gives me 6 blocks. So that's a skill card, which is a block. There's only 3 card types: skills, attack cards, and power cards.
Okay.
So because I gained a block, which also will give me the opportunity to make an attack with a card called a Shiv, I'm going to get rid of one of my lesser block cards on this random encounter, in which I've been able to pray and remove a card for free. Okay. So that was quite a lucky question mark there. That was beneficial to me.
So take it you can't backpedal. You can only go forward.
Your only way is up. Yeah. Which is why you have to think carefully and plan ahead. You want to take.
Now, does this sort of map here change every time, or is this the layout? Or did you say there's 3 types and that they are the same layout for each type?
There's 3 stages of this. So this is the first sort of level of enemies.
Yeah.
But this is completely randomly generated, this network of encounters.
Okay. And the boss at the very top, that is the end of the game up there.
That's the end of stage 1.
Okay.
And then if you defeat this boss, you'll have another spire to go
climb.
up,
Right.
climbing up the floors to the 33rd level. And then you'll have the 3rd level, which will climb you up to the 50th level, which is your ultimate end boss.
Ultimate end boss, and so that is it. Then what do you do once you've defeated that ultimate end boss?
Then you play through the whole game again, but you have ever increasing ascension levels.
Okay.
So I'm currently playing this on, see it says 3rd floor, ascension 2. So I have currently defeated the end level boss standard once,
right,
and then gone and defeated him again at ascension level 1, and now I'm playing at ascension level 2.
So it's like new game pluses.
New game pluses, in
Right.
which the ascension level 1...
Do you keep your deck and the cards as you had, or does it reset when you...
Yeah, so all the... there's, at the moment, with every character, there's 5 stages of unlocks. Each stage of unlock will give you... like another 3 relics that become available in the game, or another set of cards which will become available in the game, and you will, when you see them come up, what's unlocked, you immediately go, I see, so this is offering me now the opportunity for a different kind of synergy to be able to build
a different type of...
a deck around. So for instance, that card that I picked up, which gives me block and I gain a shiv whilst blocking,
Yeah.
there are then cards which will buff the damage ability of shivs.
Right.
So if you can get hold of one of those, and then you can get all your other cards to be built around gaining shivs and
doing
stuff,
extra
and you
damage.
can do massive damage like
Because
that.
of course you need to pull those cards in your same hand. It's useless if you get the shiv in one hand and then a shiv booster in another.
Yeah, well, it depends what the cards are. So if I have, say, a power,
Yeah.
which once I cast it, a little symbol comes down there, and it's actually removed from the deck. You don't cast it again.
Okay.
But you cast it once, and the power becomes a
permanent
fix
boost
to
for
your
this fight.
character for the fight.
Right.
And so say I had a power which was shivs do +3 damage.
Yeah.
Then for the rest of the game now, whenever I can get a shiv.
Yeah.
So, like some strategies involve getting power cards and then making them called innate, so that they will always be in your opening hand.
Okay.
Because then you can cast that power straight away, and then the rest of the deck as it comes through will be hinged around using the synergy that the power has given you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this particular encounter, I've had a horrible sequence of draws for my deck. So I had, when he attacked me, I only drew strikes and was unable to defend one of those attacks. So randomness does come into it, and you can sometimes get horrifically bad luck.
So I assume it is game over once your health hits 0.
Absolutely.
And it's a start all over again?
So start from the bottom, yeah. The whole thing is about the replayability of this.
Right, yeah.
So I've got my first...
So is there enough card variety at the moment, at this point of the game, to jump in and get it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the 3 characters that are there are amply interesting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fun already about building these decks, and the way that they construct them and synergize. Really well done. Like you said, the pedigree of this game. By the way, that's a potion I just picked up there. That fire potion, you see?
Yeah.
I
so
can
you
just
can deploy that at any fight?
At any fight, at any time. It doesn't cost an action to deploy potions. So
That's a
that's
lot of
just
damage.
like, boom, 20 damage straight out if I need it. It can be an absolute lifesaver sometimes, things like that. But yeah, the way that the decks are built is really cleverly done. I have to hand it to them. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yes, yeah.
And if they're continuously adding to this game, then like you look at Magic and stuff like that, and so I just bought a steroid potion for 20 gold there, so that now gives me for 1 turn an extra 5 strength,
Right.
which will bump all my attack cards up by 5 damage. Yeah, you look at Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. Now, all right, Magic the Gathering's got a lot longer of a pedigree of running, etc. And there's it's a sort of multiplayer dynamic which Magic hinges around, which is all well and good, but the cost of it now. You know, like they realise that they can add all kinds of sort of microtransactions in. And if it's not microtransactions, then it's you know, like expansion packs that they kind of, you know, they only give you a fraction of a game to begin with, and then
you've got to buy more decks and more cards.
Yeah, and it's constant chasing of more and more and more. Whereas this, it's really reasonably priced. It was just a few days ago, it was on sale for £7.50. It's like £11.99, like 12 quid or something like that to buy.
£12 for its early access, because it's still in early access at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know what its final sale price would be. I'd imagine maybe around the same.
I'm not sure.
Maybe it might be higher come its final release.
Yeah, it may well be, but I would say absolute bargain to right now, because it's a whole complete game. And you get to, you know, engage with all of the cards that you can get in this game. Boom, straight away, it's all there, and all the characters are there for you.
So what would you say for the sound and the music of the game?
The sound and the music is, it's acceptable, just like the graphics.
It's just
really
serviceable, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the graphics, I would say. They sort of supplement and enhance it, but they're not really what you play the game for.
No.
You play the game for the strategy and for the actual deck building, and being able to defeat the sequence of enemies.
Is it difficult? Do you need to have a lot of strategy, or can you really just fly by the seat of your pants as you go? Is it difficult? Is there a difficulty setting?
The difficulty setting is in each ascension.
Okay. So
Ascension level 1, for instance, you were seeing many more elite enemies, which are much tougher than the standard enemies. Now, when I go the Ascension level 2, the basic enemies are a lot harder to defeat. They've got more health, do more damage. So it's just like a continuous level of progression. As you progress, keep defeating that boss, going up the ascension levels, the difficulty is increasing.
Yeah.
You are getting more capable with each sequence of unlocks, but there's not actually that much to have to unlock. If you continue to keep playing, you will play and get all the unlocks relatively quickly. I mean, I've got all the unlocks for the third character. He's going to kill me now. I can't do enough damage. I got all the unlocks for the third character before I ever completed Ascension level 1.
Right.
I'll use this opportunity now to show you the other characters. But so, for instance, this one, I'm still now trying to get all the unlocks, and I haven't yet completed Ascension level 2.
Okay.
So Ascension level 2 here, I'm almost there. I've only got 500 XP to get, and that, when it says 1 unlocks, that's going to be probably 3 cards or 3 new relics or something like that when I get there. And each of them had 5 unlocks to get. So once you've got them, then you've got everything in the game for each character.
Yeah.
This guy, see, I unlocked all the cards with him before I ever even defeated Ascension level 1. Just before I defeated Ascension level 1. So I went through level 2. I've got level 2 to do with him. I haven't ever even played level 2 with this guy yet, but he's got everything. I'm still going through level 2 with her, and I only just got all the unlocks with this guy, but I managed to defeat Ascension level 2 roughly around the same time as I got all the last unlocks. So
yeah,
each of the characters depends on how cleverly you see the synergies, how quickly you sort of get to understand the character, how lucky you get as to whether or not you'll have all the unlocks before certain difficulties. But it doesn't matter, because once you've got them, and then you're just really kind of going through the game. And then you've got these things which are called daily climbs. So you've got sort of like these running challenges in which there's like a scoreboard that you've got to keep. At the end of each completion, you'll also get a score, which is, I guess, they're
in the world
keeping
leaderboards.
There's a rankings type thing. And as you can see, I haven't bothered to try doing a daily climb yet, because I've just been still unlocking all the cards, etc. But there's a custom game mode available to you as well once you've done your first daily climb. And you can then see your compendium of all the different relics that you've got. As you can see, there's quite a few different ones that you can get hold of. There's that pyramid. So you can only get the runic
Yeah.
for defeating a boss, the pyramid.
Okay.
But that means you can play a very different kind of strategy. Suddenly your strategy completely changes because you're not discarding the cards at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
And some of these are specific to characters, some of these boss relics. So that's a nuclear battery. That will only work with the automaton, the third character.
So what is channeling one plasma?
So I'll show you with the automaton. This guy works. He's got a very cool, unique way of being. So he's got these orbs that float around his head.
Okay.
Now, if I transform a card real quick, I'm just going to transform a strike. Yay! That's perfect.
So that had channel 1 lightning.
That had channel 1 lightning. So what you do is you channel orbs above his head to be able to, and he starts with his rune. His character's rune means you start with 1 lightning at the beginning of every turn.
Right.
Now you evoke these orbs to do stuff.
Okay.
So if you don't evoke them, and the more orbs that are around your head, the more that they will do at the end of each turn. Or at the beginning of each turn. So these lightning ones means their passive will deal 3 damage to a random enemy at the end of a turn.
But if you evoke them, they'll do a lot more.
And then if I evoke it, for 1 cost it will cost me, that will then take that 1 orb away, and it will do 8 damage with the dual cast 2 times on that enemy. But I've got 12 damage incoming, so I'm going to gain defense.
And that used up all of your...
That's used up all my energy. So I'm going to do 6
you got the
damage
passive
to him
ability
anyway.
Inflicted on him.
Yeah, and so that zapped him twice.
Okay, so yeah, it is a completely different play style.
Totally different, yeah. And that's why it's so cool, because the 3 different characters are really cleverly designed, and the whole dynamic is interesting and fun to play. So he's got his different orbs that you can have are lightning, which will do sort of damage passively and with evoking. You've got ice, which will give you defense passively and extra on evoking, and then there's focus, which means you can gain extra energy to play cards with.
Right.
Now, if I now channel 1 lightning, it will go 1 on and evoke 1 off. So, boom, done 8 damage to him straight away. And I can dual cast, and boom, and that would have done 16 damage to him, and he'd been dead straight away.
Yeah.
So I took 2 damage from that, but there you go. So now this guy's much more... His synergies are much more focused around being able to acquire lots of energy.
Right, yeah. And then using them in a variety of ways.
Yeah, and then using them and cycling your orbs through and all kinds of interesting ways of doing that. And then the Ironclad, or whatever his name is, or the first character, he's all about heavy attack and building up your strength.
Yeah. I did find one.
Straight away, yeah, boom. If my hit points are full, I gain 1 energy at the start of each turn. What's the chances I'll ever start with?
Can you heal yourself back up to full? I take it with healing potions or a merchant.
Yeah, you see, if you're lucky and
resting.
if you get the right cards, you see the first character, the Ironclad, he's got a rune that he starts with, which gains him 6 health at the end of each combat.
Right. Okay.
So as long as you can afford to take up to 6 damage in each, and
you'll break even,
and it negates it, and you'll break even. This guy's got some clever cards for healing. The hardest one, I think, is the Silent, because she's got much more limited ways of healing. Right. So you tend to have to use your campfires to rest and to get your healing back. And that's always an option that's open to all the characters, is to get to a campfire, rest. And you'll get 30% of your maximum hit points back.
Yeah.
But you can also gain cards which will heal you for damage dealt.
Okay.
Or you'll gain cards which will increase your maximum hit points if you get the killing blow on something, and there's all these kind of extra dynamics, and certain relics will buff your hit points. You'll get random encounters which can heal you. So there's a lot going on which will give you options, but some of it is down to being lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time.
Well, Geoff, this seems like an obvious answer to this question, but do you recommend Slay the Spire?
Absolutely, yeah. It is an absolute geek fest. If you like deck building, then you will love Slay the Spire.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the Steam reviews for the game, it currently has a 10 out of 10, and all the reviews for it are overwhelmingly positive.
Absolutely.
There's very few people with anything negative to say about the game.
That's it.
And so, yeah, this I'm putting this game on my wish list immediately.
Yeah, it's very smart, because you and I played deck builders on the table.
Yeah.
And
currently playing the Arkham Horror.
They're probably right up there with our favourite games to play on a table.
Yes.
And yeah, absolutely. As soon as I got this, I was instantly hooked, and it is just wiped out. I mean, you know what it's like when you're hooked. You procrastinate on all the jobs you're supposed to do. Paperwork's going out the window because I just want to play Slay the Spire. So,
That's when you know you're onto a good game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so with that, I just want to say thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back next Friday looking at another video game. Of course, new film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Take
See
it
you next
easy.
time.
Chill.